Hello, friends. It's Jennifer from the patio coming to you today with the first of our putting our journal together for our It's the Farm digital kit. So we have two projects today, but first I want to show you just real quick what it is that we're doing. So I just put out a kit called It's the Farm, and you can find it on my Ko-fi shop. It has lots of beautiful sepia with cream and black with splashes of just a beautiful red. Now, if you have to watch a different video, and I'll link it up here on the kit itself with some explanation about printing and obtaining this vibrant color, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the kit is extensive. It is 48 pages long. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? It's not 48 pages long. It's 48 pages, and it has 20 background pages, 10 like solid background pages, and then it has all of these, and then it has 18 pages of ephemera. So you'll get all of the cards and the pockets and the flips and the booklets and all of those kinds of things. And so you can find that on my Ko-fi shop. So go over to Ko-fi and look for Jennifer from the patio, and you can find it there if you would like to purchase it and play along with us as we make a journal with the kit. So I have put my journal together, and it is 3 signatures. I used a file folder that I believe was 14 inches. I'm pretty sure it was longer than that. I don't know, it was just really extensive, but it was a big one. And so I just took it the way it was, and I folded it and just made it to where I still had the opening so I can make pockets. So I'm going to put a big tag in the front and a tag in the back from, and so I've already put it together, 3 signatures. I put some different papers in here, some coffee dyed papers, some random papers. This is some avocado. So anyway, so that is already done. And so now what we have to do is put the ephemera in it. And so that's what we're going to do today. So I'm making 2 projects today, and I'm going to put this aside. The first one that we're going to make is this booklet, and this is just my prototype. And so it's going to go like this. It is a one-page wonder that I saw on Silver and Sparkles. She's so cute, and I really enjoy watching her. And so it's a one-page wonder, and so it just opens like that, and then it closes like this, and then pretty simple. But that's what we're going to make out of this sheet. And I put some siding, barn siding on the back. And so we'll make that. And then the other project we're going to make is a coin envelope. And we're going to just embellish it with some goodies that I have and put a tag in it. So let's do the flip out booklet first. So here is what you need. You need 1 piece of cardstock, and I'm using 65 pound, and we need it to be 11 by 8.5. So on the 11, we're going to score at 3 3/4 and 7.5. Then we're going to turn it to the left, and we're going to score on the 8.5 at 2 1/4. And then we're going to cut. So anyway, those are your directions. So let's get to getting on the scoring. So we're just going to get our scoreboard out here. And we're going to score on the 11 at 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. And then 7.5. 7.5. We're going to turn it to the right, and then on the 8.5, we're going to score at 2 1/4. So 2 1/4. And that's it. That is all Okay. I just did the complete opposite of what I needed to do. That is what we're going to do we're making the booklet first. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So here we go. Let's get it out. We're going to do it again. I apologize. I was scored that's for the coin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so 3 1/4. And then 7 1/2. Turn to the right. And then 2 1/4. Okay, that is what we're going to make with the for the booklet. Okay, so now that we have all of our squares, you can see the 2 smaller ones are at the top. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut those out, okay? And she did it a little bit different, but I'm going to show you. For me, it's just easier this way. I don't know why, but it is. So we're just going to cut these 2 top ones out, and I'm going to just go right below that score line, which is what we do because we don't want the puffy side. We don't need that. We don't need that puffy business in our little crafting. Okay. And then that way you can close it, if you can kind of see. There it is. I'm kind of having a hard time seeing it myself. This is going to be a longer video, so I'm kind of like, okay, we need to get in here. Okay, so these are the tops, so I'm going to put those aside. And then what she did is she came down a little bit on these. And so I'm going to do the same. And so I'm going to do one first, she did it to where you scored and then you cut differently, but I'm just like, I would rather just do it this way. And then I'm going to fold it in, and then I'm going to fold the other one over. And this is the one that actually goes on top, so that's why it's not going to be able to have it marked. And then I'm just going to mark it with my trusty pencil. And I'm going to try to get it to where I can see it so that they're even. And then I'm going to cut this out. And I hope I'm not confusing you, but she just went down a little bit on her cut. But she scored differently, and I just do it like that. And so it's going to go like that. See? Very simple. And then this folds down, so we have enough space in there for it to fold down and look fabulous. Okay, so this one is needs to be rounded. So let me get my corner rounder out. And I'm going to use the big one for the top. I don't think I'm going to score the bottom. I mean, round the bottom, but I am going to round this little top flap. And then we are going to fold it the opposite direction because I want this to be my middle, and I want the wood to be my outside. Just because it's my preference. I'm kind of looking for neutrality in the journal because some of the papers are just so busy that I want to have something neutral on the top or on, on the page. And if I don't, do that, it'll just be too busy. And then there's going to be some places that are really plain and I have wood, and then I'm going to put a busier pattern there. So anywho, that's what we're going to do. So I hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing wonderful. I try to have a good day every day. I'm not spicy today or anything. That's what my husband says. You're spicy today. And I'm like, well, sometimes I just gotta be, we gotta have a little spiciness going on. But I'm good today. And let's see, what have I done this week? honestly, you guys, I am working on another kit. I'm making a digital kit for Christmas. I'm doing Christmas in July. You know why? Because I can. And I want to. And because I like to get a head start on Christmas. It's part of our busiest season, you know. So you kind of have to get a head start. So anyway, I am working on creating a kit. And I was working on the background pages last night. And I'm starting the ephemera, which I'm very excited about. And it's going to be a simpler kit. I love this kit. This one, it's the farm and my pretty pot plants and my come away with me. Those are beautiful kits and I love them, but they're big. They are extensive. Pretty pot plants was my first kit, and I want to say it's almost 58 pages. And you just get all kinds of background. I couldn't help myself when I was creating them. I'm just like, I just kept going and going. And you find yourself doing that. And you just really have to be careful because, I mean, I'll be honest, even with this kit, don't print the whole thing out all at once. Just, figure out what you want to do. If you're following along with me, you can do what I'm doing where you just print out, print this page out with that on the back. Whatever you want to do, but just don't print it all out at one time because it gets overwhelming and then you end up having a lot of different pages left over. And not that you, can't have that, but I'm going to have to take just a hair off of this in order to make it fit. And I guess I'll use my scissors. I'm not always exact and accurate on that. But we have to get it inside the fold line enough to avoid any impeding. So this one needs to be cut just a hair. And that wasn't straight. Hello. Okay, and then also on this one, I see the bump of the, where I scored it on the bottom, and so I'm just going to take that off. And I'm going to look at this other one too, because I didn't feel it. Okay, well that one looks fine. Anyway, sometimes kits can be overwhelming, and I've bought some really large kits over the years. And then printed them out, and then I just had so much stuff and I got overwhelmed, and I'm like, so to me, it's almost like you have to make a list, which is what I did for this kit. Well, for this project right now, I just made a list of the things that in addition to what I gave you, some things that I wanted to put in it, and then I work off there. It's just easier for me. Okay, so what's so nice about this, One Page Wonder is these pieces were up here, and so now they're just going to come down here. And instead of putting this part down here, I'm going to just use the wood, which I think looks good. This one might be a little too busy. I might just put the flower there. And then that way, oh, I can't because it's a smaller. No, I can't. I can put the top of the window, but nah, I don't like that. Okay. All right, we're going with it. We're just going to do what we were originally going to do. Okay, so I'm going to use Mr. Art. Let me put my ink lid on so that doesn't dry up. But anyway, yeah, there's so many people that have bought this kit, and I'm just so grateful and thankful to you all. But just words of wisdom, don't go and just print the whole thing out all at once. It's 48 pages of ink. The ephemera is different, but, the actual pages, because you want to put some coffee dye paper in. You want to put some ledger paper. You want to put some different stuff. So you may not even use all of the journal pages. So don't print them out yet. You may use them for a folio later or something. But so just words of encouragement here, or words of wisdom, because, we get all excited. And then it's just, I don't want to say a waste because it's not. But There are kits that I printed out that I still have not even used. And I consider that to be not a waste, but, you know, it just, I wish I would have just waited until I was ready to do whatever it is. Because honestly, there's just not enough time in the day for me to do everything that I want to do. But I try. I try to shove it all in there. It doesn't always work. So, okay, so there's this. And so I got to figure out what to put in here. And I will tell you that I had printed something out earlier, and I had these left over, and I really like that. So don't throw your scraps away because they really do come in handy. And so I think I'm going to just make a belly band out of that. And that way I don't have to cut into anything else. And I believe I'm going to use some of the cardstock, the black cardstock from the coin envelope that we're going to make. So let me cut this down. This is going to go here. I kind of like the notches. So let's go here and, well, that was perfect, right at that little thing. Okay, I'm going to try to do it with my scissors. Okay, let's see if I can get a straight edge. Oh my goodness, did I? Did I? I mean, it's pretty close. It is pretty close. So I'm going to get my little eraser and erase that little mark. Oops. Hello. Okay, let me ink it. And then we will get that stuck in. And then I'm going to get some coffee dyed paper to stick in this belly band. Okay. Yes, but I think I'm going to do it like this. Okay, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm videoing. I'm videoing. That's a nightmare for us when you realize that you're not videoing. Like something happened and it turned off or something. Okay. Let me get a good amount of glue. I'm having to squeeze really hard on Art today. I don't know why. He is not acting right. Okay, let me just kind of line this up here. And then this is my center mark. I'm going to take it right above that. And stick it down. Hold it down for just a second. Kind of looks like a window box, doesn't it? Okay. I like it. I like it. Okay, so I'm going to use, you know what I have on my desk is this piece of coffee dyed paper. I could make a matchbook out of this. Sure can. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to make a matchbook out of this to just stick in here. And so, and then I'll do it this way. So it'll flip in there. Looks like I have a little mark on the edge where I had marked it. Okay, matchbooks are pretty simple. What you do is you get your, let me get it, you get your hole punch and you punch holes in the bottom like that. You don't want them too close to the edge. That one looks a little high. That looks right. And then you put some grommets in it. And that's what we're going to do. And you know me. And this is, just so you know, this is a company called Craft Me More. I love their grommets. They're very sturdy. They're not those cheapies. And I also have them in silver and gold. And so, and they're very reasonable. And they come with backs. And I love that. And so that's what I do. I use backs on them. I do. I'm going to leave those out because I might need them again. And then you put these in. And then let me get my crocodile. Nope, it goes like this. And I'm going to have to bring it to me because y'all know I can't. This crocodile is not. Oh, it didn't take my back. See, because it's a pain. I'm going to pull that one out. It is a pain because it doesn't. I'm going to make sure my lock's not on. You have to check to see. Let me put this down. Sometimes it just does not squeeze well, and it just, you know, I mean, I'm not an old lady, but I'm definitely not as strong as I used to be. I'm trying. Okay, once again. Okay, I squeezed it a little bit harder that time. It still didn't take the back. You know why? It might be too thick. That's fine. I just won't use one then. I just won't use one. Don't be so cantankerous. Oh, my goodness. Did it do it? Oh, I don't know, but it looks like it did. Yes, it did. Okay, so you put your grommets in like this. And you don't use backs because this is 65 pound and that's a double. Okay, so I'm going to go down like this. And so this needs to be cut. I didn't cut it yet before I did it because I wanted to see where the grommets were going to be. But I am confident in myself to get this straight. And then you're just going to have it just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, and so let's just, and then it just flips out like this, and then it's just like little hidden writing space, right? That was pretty good. Okay, let me burnish it down just a little bit because it just doesn't, okay, there. Yes. Is it straight? Is it straight? I see like a little bit hanging off, and not that it matters, but you know, if you can cut it, why not? If you can cut it, why not? Okay, so now we're going to ink, and I know you're thinking, well, you should have inked. No, it's okay. Look, you just have to hold it like this. Just hold it like that. This coffee dyed paper looks so good when it's inked. It's just per day. Any coffee dyed paper, but I love, look at that. Isn't that just, it's luscious. I love it. Look at that. I just love it. Love it. Love coffee dyed paper. And I have found that this 65 pound really does. Comes out just some pretty, I think because it's more of it's porous. And so it kind of soaks in and gets some good cracks and stuff. And I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so that'll be for one pocket. And then we can tie some twine or something to this. And we're going to have to, it's going to have to be sticking out up like this in here, in this pocket, because these won't fit in. Okay, so let's look and see what I have. Like just a little, I have my jar of goodies. I'm sure everybody has a jar of goodies. Let's use that. Let me see if I can find a, nope. They're pretty much all long. I don't want it too thick, so that's a perfect one. That is perfecto. So let's just stick it in one side. Pull it up just a hair. Then pull it in the other side. And then I'll make a knot. I don't want to cut it off yet until I know that that's where I want to cut it off. Let's see if that'll make a good bow. That's too long. Let's just kind of shorten it just a hair. Oops, I'm going the opposite direction. Pull that way and then pull this way. Okay, pull this way and then, okay, I have to talk to myself. Okay, pull this way, Jennifer, and not that way. Okay, put that on like that, and then that's going to give me a nice little bow. Okay, I might need just a hair more, and then I'm going to just cut it off. Cut it off. Okay, so let me even it out. And then we will go ahead and tie a knot. I'm going to tie a knot so the bow, if it does come out, this doesn't actually come out of the... you have to hold it down with your finger. Sometimes we need people in the craft room to help us. Okay. And put it in the middle. And then we'll just tie a little bow. Get over here. I always have a hard time tying little bows like that, like where it goes over. I think honestly it's because of my fingernails. I think they get in the way of me. Push through and grab. There. Whoops. Okay. Yes. How cute is that? Okay. So that's going to go over here with some hidden writing space. Little hidden writing space. I think I didn't do my knot tight enough, but that works. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to use a black piece from the coin, but we haven't made that yet. So the other thing we need to do is just stick some coffee dyed paper in here in the middle. And I'm going to use this. It has like this really pretty design, very faint of florals. Anyway, so I'm going to use that, but I'm going to use the outside portion of it so that it'll show the light. So let's do that. Place it down. And then I love that crinkly sound. And then I'm going to just fold it over. Okay, so it'll go in like this. Oops, I did it too big. Oh, well, this one was fine. It was this one. You know what? I think I'm just going to cut it in half. And that way it's just going to be like a folded in half little booklet. Or just like a folded in half piece of paper. Doesn't have to be. Sorry about that noise. And then I'm going to cut it down to, I kind of like that side at the top. I need it to be there. And let me pull this over so I can see. Because if the glue is, I'm going to say here. Let me pull it in here so you can see what I'm doing. I can barely see my mark, but I know it's right there. Okay. And then we'll just stick that in here like that. And it's going to be nice and snug. Perfect. Because we don't want it falling out. And I'm not going to round the edges because I didn't on that, even though I did here, but it kind of gives it just a... Okay, so there's that, and then that goes like this, and then this is going to go down like this, and it's okay if it's a little thick. I think that it's good to have, you know, just some depth in your journal. So what we need is a closure, and so here's what I have. I'm going to see in my little jars of goodies if I have a piece of, oh, it has a Bible on it. I don't think that would work. Okay, I was looking for some craft paper, but I don't have any, but I really would like to have some, but I am going to keep, one of these out. Maybe, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait until we finish the coin envelope, and we'll come back and do this. Okay. Because I can use the scraps from the other one, and so there's no use in, you know, going and cutting something else when I can use scraps. Okay, let me put all this up, and then here we are. We're going to move on to the next one. We'll come back to this, okay? All right, so now we're going to do the coin envelope. So you need a piece of cardstock, preferably 65 pound, which is what I use, and 7.5 by 7. Okay, go ahead and take a picture. We're going to score on the 7.5 mark at 2 and 5.5. And then we're going to score on the 7 at 1 1/4 by 6 1/4. So let me get another piece of paper, because remember I messed the first one up. So I guess I could have used that of... No, I'm going to leave it the way it is, because I'll make one of those little one-page wonder booklets out of it. Okay, so here's my scrap. So we are going to do, I do not have a 7.5 mark. I do have a 7, but not a 7.5 mark on my Timmy. And so Mr. Timmy only goes here, but I've marked it all the way out. But 7.5 I do not have. See how it goes off the edge? And then I'm going to turn it, and then we are going to go to 7. So that is there. And see how I have pieces left, so now I can use this to make a booklet. So I'm excited about that. And I can make a circle. Okay, so scoreboard. Let's get the scoreboard out. It's going to be a little bit longer video, but that's okay. We're having fun together. Okay, 7.5. Up on the top, we're going to score at 2. And 5.5. We are going to turn it to the left. Now we're going to score on the 7. We're going to do 1 1/4. And 6 1/4. So now we have a box in the middle and a bunch of little squares on the corners, and we are going to cut them little suckers off. All 4 of these we're going to cut off. So hopefully you can see my little marks. I like to turn it over so I can see the bump, and then I'm going to cut inside the bumpy area. And then I'm going to bring that up. And I'm not going to do it at an angle or anything like I would do for a gusset, because this is a pocket, and when it folds up, I want to see those edges, because I am going to round them. Okay, and then we're going to just cut the ones on the top, staying on the outside of this. It's on the inside of this, or the outside of this, but the inside of that. So wherever you're cutting off from, you want to do it from the outside, if that makes sense. Because you don't want the crease, but you also are giving yourself room for folds and, you know, bends and folds. Okay. Pretty simple. So this little one is the bottom, and then this is the top, and these are the sides. So let's go ahead and round the top with the large rounder. And then I'm going to do the bottom one, and first I'm going to fold it in. First I'm going to fold these in. This one looks like the fold is off. So I'm going to just kind of fold. It's probably because of the way I cut my paper. I didn't get enough of the... Okay. There we go. And then this down here, I'm going to punch. Whoop, this one is the same. See, you have to kind of make sure you get it far enough up so that it doesn't impede the folding and all of that goodness. So once you fold it, you can punch the bottom edge. And I think I'm going to use this middle one. I like the way that looks. Okay. So that is pretty much done. I still kind of see a little bit on this one. I don't know why it's not straight. Probably because I'm using my scissors. See if that is, yes. So I don't want, when I fold this up, I don't want to impede that fold. Okay, so this one is going to go like this. I don't need to round anything. So I'm going to get the glue out. And I like to, as they're laying open, I like to fold this one down, the one that I'm going to fold on top of. And I do the outside of this flap that's on the outside. And then I put a bead on this one going from the inside. And that way you know that it's getting glue on two places when you fold it down. And I'm going to gently hold it so that it doesn't get glue on the inside. I see a little bit right there. Okay. And we're not going to be folding this flap down at all. And the reason, like I said, is I want to have something black so that whenever I put it in, it's not taken away from the page. Okay, and then I'm just going to glue this down here, and I'm going to keep away from that bottom edge, that's close to the fold, so that I don't get glue in there. Oh, that was a piece of paper. So I don't get glue in there. Okay, so we have this, and this is what we're going to put inside of it. So let me put this back on top. Got to get my glue all situated. I pulled out something to make a pocket in the front. And this is a prototype of when I was creating the kit, and I have all of the edges on it, but I decided when I published the kit to take them all off, because sometimes I just feel like they're just too much. It's, in some things it's nice. I think it's a little, but in, I just didn't like it, so I took them off. And so this was some of my printing from me when I had them on. Make sure that fits correctly. Yes, it's perfect. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little notch in it, only because I can. And so I'm going to. And I'm just going to put it right over here in this little cream section, just so people know it's a pocket. And then, yes, that's going to go perfectly in there. So I'm going to ink. And then I'm going to just stick this on. I think I'm going to just, I don't know. I was going to just do the corners just a hair. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so unfortunately, these aren't going to be in your kit. Did I tell you that already? But you do have other pockets, so. But you can also, print it out and just use, some of the paper. Okay, let's glue this down so I'm not yakking. But I do want to tell you I'm gluing this pocket down. Those of you that just feel like you don't have the money to do craft, do junk journaling or, whatever, I want to encourage you to go thrifting, because You would be surprised what you find at your local thrift stores. It's just like me. Whenever I'm getting rid of something, I'll go to the Women's Crisis Center and I'll take my stuff there because I know it's going to a good cause. I don't use Goodwill as much because, you know, I just don't. And their prices are actually going up. But anyway, I do shop there. I do go to Goodwill and shop for craft stuff. Anyway, but last week I went and they had 2 large bags of wooden stamps. It was $7.99, and in each bag, there were 2 of them. There were about 25. One had 30 stamps, one had 23, I think. But for $16, I got 40-something stamps, almost 50 stamps. And some of them were big, some of them were words that I don't have in my stash. I was so thrilled to get those. Okay, so I'm going to put this. I've already cut it out. I didn't ink it. And I didn't put anything on the inside because I kind of, it's a journaling prompt. And I have 8 of those in my kit. And I just love them. I just love them. This one says, write a letter to your future self from the front porch of the farm. And so it's just a means for you to, you know, just, if you don't know what to write about in your journal, it gives you something to write about. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this tag. And these I printed on some background paper of wood. And that's where I got that strip that we put in the middle of that booklet. Because in between, even these, you could use to put in the corners of somewhere. But yeah, I keep all those little strips. I buy jars. That's really what I've been buying at the thrift stores. Is like, you know, the candy jars or, you know, just big jars to put paper strips in. And I'll show you. I have one right here. And I love it because it's beveled. Look how pretty that is. And then I just put my strips in here. And I actually have 3 of these with all my strips. Do you think I need to do a crafting with your scraps thing? Yeah, so anyway, I buy that kind of stuff now. I pretty much have everything, you know, I need. I just use the thrift store to, of course, if there's stamps, I can't say no. I can't pass them up. I told my husband, I said, you're going to have to stop bringing me here, honey, because, and he goes, well, you need to have some self-control. And I said, I don't got none. I don't got none, honey. So I'm going to put I'm going to put it. I'm going to put me a grommet here. And then that way I can put some twine or something in it. And I'm going to put a backing on this one because I think it'll work. I love to put backings because it just has a finished look. But sometimes my crocodile just does not like it. And so I'm going to bring it to my chest because, you know, I have to. I don't know why it won't. Okay, there it goes. Let's see. Yes, it did. Okay. Good job. Okay, so that's going to go in like that. And I did give you some words and some sayings and all kinds of things. So we could put something right here. Yes, we could. And I will look for, what are we going to put here? I think that we should put some of this. Some twine or something. I mean, I have all kinds of stuff in here. I like the thin one because you don't want your journal to be, oh, look how pretty that is. See, things just fall out. You don't even know what you're going to get. And that the inspiration falls right out of your scrap drawer or your scrap bin. See how these little jars come in handy? And I found one the other day that has my other stuff in it. Isn't this cute? And I'm sure this is new. I've seen these at like Marshalls and stuff like that. But, you know, it was fairly reasonable at the old thrift store. So, did I keep that out because I'm going to use it? I don't know, because that black is kind of cute. I don't know. I'll think about it. Ooh, look what I have. Look at what I have. Nothing wrong with a black flower either. With a little saying or something on it. I like it. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so let me do the tag real quick. And like I said, I have that on the back so you have writing space. And it's just done on 65 pounds, so it's durable enough to, you know, give you some structure to it. And then we'll just fold this up. But anyway, I just wanted to say, encourage you, just go once a week to your thrift store. If you're looking for supplies, you can find stuff. I'm not kidding you. I found one of those, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to look in the drawer real quick and show you. Okay, so there's that. Let me just show you. A Misty, that's what it's called. It's called a Mini Misty. It was brand new in the box. Look at that. Brand new in the box. Look at that. Look at that. You put your stamp on here, and then you put your paper down there. I mean, it's brand new. Never been used. Look at that. So, and guess how much I paid for it? You're not going to believe it. $3.99. Yes. And I remember stuff like that because that's such a good price. $3.99. Crazy. Okay, so this is going to go in here. And I didn't ink the back. And I'm going to do it because sometimes I forget to go back. I mean, before, if a journal sells, I will definitely go through and make sure that everything is inked. I take all the tags out to make sure. And so I don't know if I'm going to sell this one or not, but I probably will. I probably will. If anybody's interested, just let me know. First come, first serve, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and put that down here. I kind of like that. Let's just scrunch it up a little bit. Let me see if I have a word. Let me pull this out and use what's in here because I know it's right at the front there. Okay, how about, let's look and see which one we want. Here, even the stillness is alive. Old things carry the sweetest echoes. Fences lean, but stories stand strong. This land remembers laughter. Red blooms, rusted dreams. I like that. Red blooms, rusted dreams. So let's just cut this out real quick, and then I'll just stick it on there. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. So, anywho, how's everybody doing? What you been up to? What's going on in your life, your neck of the woods? I know I've got some people from Nova Scotia, up in Canada, have some England people that watch. And so, how's everybody doing? What you been up to? Here in Texas, we are in summertime, so, which, you know, summertime is pretty much 70% of the time here. It's like over in England, like in the UK, you guys are always, you know, cool and rainy, and we're always the opposite. We, you know, we're hot and muggy, and oh, it's gonna have a black one there. Is that okay? Yeah. Absolutely. Let me see where the top of that is. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down with some of my Fabri-Tac because that's what we do. And I'm going to put it right. I like it kind of hanging off the edge too. Like a weird thing like that. So let me just Let me just put it on there. And then I'll just kind of scrunch it up. Just kind of scrunch it up. I'm going to put a little bit right here and just push that down. And then we'll put the word on there with some Fabri-Tac. A generous amount, it looks like. Okay. And then we'll put this. Cute little bud. And finish it off. Right there on the corner. Okay. That's so pretty and very simple, but we need things like this. And I needed something that was not going to be so busy. So let's look in the journal and see what we have and where we want to put it. Okay. And then we'll go back to the other and take care of that. Let's see what I have. This is kind of busy, so I don't know if it needs to go. That kind of stands out pretty good there. Don't you think? I think so. I think it's pretty. Okay, well, let's put it like this, kind of an angle, because I'm thinking I'm going to have like a little card or something to pull out from the edge. Okay, so I always hold where I don't want the glue. And then I'm just going to put it, glue on the bottom. And then on the side. And I'm going to go all the way up because we're not going to close this coin pocket. We're just using it as a means to. And then not too far. Yeah, I think that's going to look really, really nice. I love that with the little flower. And that's going to dry, so dry nice and good. And then we'll put a pocket in. I mean, we'll put a tag in this little pocket. See, real estate, you know. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to leave it open over here. And then we are going to... What were we? Oh, we were going to finish this. So what I have left over is this piece that we can put over here as a little booklet. So I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to say about there. So let's do that. Let me make sure that that's going to fit in there. I believe it will. I believe it will, and then we can use this piece for a circle. We are just using up our scraps, aren't we? No scrap is left behind in this project. And then I'm going to round the corners and get that done. Because I like a good rounded corner. Then I need something to put on the inside. And I have this left over. And I also have this piece, but that's not big enough. I have this. I have that, so that's good. And you know, they don't all have to be the same size. So let's don't make them all the same size. Let's just get some scraps together and see what we have. This obviously isn't straight, which is why it's... Okay, so that's okay. And then I'm going to cut this one, not cut it, but I'm going to fold this one like this. Okay, so how high is this? Let me put it on my board here. So I can't. I'm not talented enough to count backwards. 3 and almost, it's a little more than 3.5, so I need it 3 inches tall. Yes. 3 inches. No. No. Okay, so 2 1/4, which is what this was. Yeah. 2 3/4, and then I think this, I said 3 inches tall. So I'm going to do this. Yes. And then I'll put this one, and then let's see what this one's a little bit smaller than that, and that's cool. And then this one needs to be, I'm going to do it right, like in the middle. So we'll have a stair step. So we'll have a stair step. Okay. Then we have some little pieces to use for something else. Of course, you don't want to see my, you do not want to see my scraps. I need Corey Damon to come over. Or Corey Dahmer is her name. She's the scrap lady on YouTube, and she does amazing things with her scraps. I have lots of scraps I need to take care of. Okay, so let's just do that. And then that's going to go in just like that. And so when you open it, you just have some paper. That's so cute. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to burnish this down. Burnish it down. Let me put my glue lid thing back in my pen. Okay. We're just winging it today. We're just making all kinds of good things. I love it. Use what you have. And then that's going to go like that. And then I have my trusty... I don't always do this. Woo! I think I got it. I don't know. I can't see real well on this. We're winging it. Oh, I winged it a little to the front. No, that's perfect. Okay. I thought it was too much, but it's not. Okay, and so then when you open it, look how cute. You're just going to have some writing space in there. And it's okay that they're not even, because it's just better like that. Okay, and then we just need to maybe embellish it a little bit, but I don't know. I kind of like the simple like that. This one and this one. It's just so busy, so I'm okay with the simple. And then that goes like that. So now we need to do the circle. So I had this piece left over. So let me get out my circle punch because I did not see any black in there. So I'm going to use that. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to get out my scraps for my cardstock. And... because I want it to be sturdy, so I have a piece of craft paper. Well, I think this is 110. So, and that'll be our base. No, it's 65. I can feel it. Okay, so we're going to stick that on like this, and I'm going to use the craft paper. I just like that. And what I thought we could do is put one of these cool brads in it. Okay, so let's ink this baby up. I'm okay with simplicity. You know, I like a crazy busy journal, but I also I just really like a simple one too. I mean, we're going to have some flips and flaps and folds and all kinds of stuff in here. But sometimes it's just like, it's okay to just have simple. Yeah, that's going to look good. Okay, so I'm going to glue this little baby on. I'm going to glue it, glue it, glue it. So what, this is Friday, so what are you guys doing this weekend? Anything exciting? I really want to try a new restaurant. I get tired. My husband and I eat at home all the time. We just do. I cook, and so does he. But when we do go out, we tend to go to the same restaurants. And I told him, I said, it's just so boring. You know, I want to try something new. And I love Indian food. I love Thai food. I love anything different. You know, I love different foods. And so I'm like, I told him, I said, I just want to go try something different. So that's what we're going to do. So anyway, we're going to put a brad in there. So this is going to go like this. And you want to do it so that it just kind of has to bend a little bit. I'm going to say probably halfway is good because this is pretty flexible. And that looks like it's in the middle. So, and I can erase this. So I'm going to put a mark here and a mark here so that I know where to put it. And then I'm going to put my brad. I'm going to put old Brad right down here. I'm going to try to put him in the middle. Okay. Now let's see how I did. Let's see if I got old Brad in the middle. I did not. Mr. Brad needs to come down just, but I will tell you, that's pretty close. Pretty close. Okay, so now I need my green punch because this is my smaller hole punch and Mr. Brad needs a smaller one. Okay, now look what I have. I have all of these fun brads. Do we want a square one or, ooh, that's pretty. What do you think? I've got this one. They're all kind of different, but the same. Oh, that one, it's pretty too. They're all flowers. That one's a flowery. I'm looking for maybe, oh, this is silver though. Do we want silver? And then this one is an actual flower, and so I probably wouldn't use that one. I don't know. I kind of like this one. What do you think? I do. It's flat too. I think I'm going to use that one. I do. I think I'm doing it. Okay, this one is this, and this one is this. These brads come in so handy. Every time I open them up, I have to thank my friend Lisa from high school. My good friend Lisa. She gave me these, and she's awesome and amazing. And I thank you. She is so talented. Oh my goodness. She's quilting now, but she makes, jewelry, all kinds of amazing things. Yeah, that's going to look really pretty. Okay, so let's get this brad down. And I'm going to make sure that it's down good and tight. I don't want him moving. Don't be moving, Brad. Okay, and then I put my marks on here. There's one and there's one. So I think it was like this. And here and here. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue. I'm going to put the glue down here. My brad needs to go this way so I don't get confused. Let me just fix that, Mr. Brad's. Yeah, that's good. It's just so when I turn it over, I can see where the lines are. Because if it's cockeyed and it's not like how it's... then I will not be putting my glue on correctly. And I need to do that so it doesn't come popping off the page, right? So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on old Brad so he doesn't move. And then we're going to glue it down. And let's make sure, I think it's down here, yeah. I have, there it is, and there it is. Okay, I just have to look and see where I am going with this thing. Make sure that I'm, yeah. And I'm going to open it up and do this so I can, our little matchbook kind of got in the way a little bit with the grommets. Okay. I mean, we made some goodies today. Yes, we did. So there we have a little booklet when we used stuff from each other. That's awesome. So this goes in here. I'm sorry, this goes this way. And then this just folds down just like that. And it's going to have a little pop-up because we put the grommet thing in there, but we don't necessarily have to keep it. But honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. And once it's in the journal and it has pressure on it, it's going to stay. So anyway, that's what we did. So let's look and see. We put that in, and then we also made this. So how fun. What a great time we spent together. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. If you're interested in this kit, it's the farm. You can purchase it off of my Ko-Fi shop. It's Ko-Fi, not Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi shop at Jennifer from the Patio. And I will see you in the next video. And remember, you only know what you know until you know something different. Bye-bye.